This is one more problem. What we'll take now. I hope this is done. Vertical plate of 0.5 mm height. So in this, other than Q, see here, dimensions of the plate, temperature of the wall, temperature of the fluid. Only if these three are given, so that means it is a free convection. Along with that, if it is m dot or v is given, then definitely it comes under forced convection. So as I told, in both the cases, he can ask the value of Q. Okay, that you can do. Q, how to find out? With the help of Nusselt number, we'll find out H first. Then after that H, you will find out the Q. So here what is asking? H at a distance of X. So he has given the value of X. Length of the plate is 0.5. So you are going to find out the value of H at a distance of X. That is X is equal to 0.5 by 2. This is also we are finding. And also this delta indicates the boundary layer thickness of the boundary layer thickness at a distance of X. And H indicates bar indicates average H. That means this H is at the overall length. If you consider the overall length, that what is the value of H? If I consider the X value, what is the length? What is the value of X? This we have done yesterday. Okay, we'll go for this problem. We'll take up this problem. See that the two vertical plates, each 120 mm height. Means there are two plates, vertical plates. Each plates are having a 120 mm height and maintained at 85 degrees centigrade. Both are maintained at 85 degrees centigrade. And it is placed in air, means the fluid is 85 degrees centigrade, are placed in a tank of a water. Till now we have solved the problem based on the fluid called air. Now the fluid is water. So we are supposed to take all the properties with respect to water. There are two plates of 120 mm height. Both the plates are dipped in a tank which consists of water, and the temperature of the water is 15 degrees centigrade. So it's asking you to find out the minimum spacing which will prevent interference of the free convection boundary layer. See here. So assume that, can you see the figure here at the bottom figure? Here, yes. If you concentrate only on one plate, let us concentrate any one plate, either this or this. So if you concentrate on one plate, and if the water is flowing, then what will happen? The boundary layer will create, correct? Instead of keeping horizontal plate, the plate is kept vertical now. If the water is flowing from bottom to top, then what will happen? Forget about the second plate. You concentrate only on the one plate. The boundary layer will create, correct? This is called the boundary layer. It means the velocity of the water which is affecting the plate surface, which is affecting the movement of the fluid, is nothing but this layer. Below this layer, there is an effect on the water. Above this layer, there is no effect. So if this is the boundary layer, and if I take another plate which is having the same dimension, again the boundary layer will be other side. So if we keep parallel to each other, means both the plates are kept parallel to each other. So he is asking what is the thickness of this boundary layer, that means delta, at what distance? He is not asking distance, he is asking both this should not interference, means it should not cross with each other. The boundary layer should not cross each other. Like that, you have to find out the value of delta. That means you have to find out the value of length of the plate is 120, but this delta will come only at a distance of X. So you should find out first the value of X and then at a distance of delta. At that X, what is the delta? That you have to find out. Okay. Any doubts? If I take only one plate, the boundary layer will be formed. This boundary layer, this is called the boundary layer for the one plate. If I take another plate, again the boundary layer will form. So what you're supposed to do, he is asking you to calculate at what distance these two plates has to be kept, so that this boundary layer should not get interference. Means that the boundary layer should not get crossed with each other. So you have to find out the delta this side and delta that side. That means the boundary layer thickness of one plate, again the boundary layer thickness of other plate. Those two you have to find out. Okay. Any of dimensions are same. It's just if you multiply, we'll see how to solve it. So length of the delta is nothing but a boundary layer thickness or boundary layer thickness at the trailing edge of the plate. Means at the end of the plate. The length of the plate is 0.12 meter. Temperature of the plate is 85, and the fluid, that is water temperature, is 15 degrees centigrade. What is the first step we need to do? We need to do is TF, that is film temperature. Film temperature is TW plus T infinity by 2. TW is 85 plus T infinity, fluid temperature is 15 by 2. It will be 100 by 2, 50 degrees centigrade. So that T film temperature is 50 degrees centigrade. Effective film temperature is only 50 degrees centigrade. Now you take the properties of water, because till now all the problems we have solved on air. Because he has given the problem, the air is flowing over the surface like that. Now it is dipped in a water. Water is a fluid. At 50 degrees centigrade, for the properties of the water is this. I'll show you. Just I'll project a data handbook and I'll show you. Okay, go for the free convection topic. I go for, now it is forced convection. Okay, free convection. If you go for the free convection, okay, TF we got this, and TF value we got to know that it is around 50 degrees centigrade. So that we'll go for the properties of water. At the beginning of the data handbook, somewhere the properties of all the fluid, all the gases will be given, all the liquids, all the gases will be given. We'll check out properties of water. Yeah, properties of gases, and then properties of gas, atmospheric gas. Saturated steam at, like that you take for water, you will get yeah, properties of liquid in saturated state. That means now we got a water temperature is how much? We got temperature, that is TF 50 degrees centigrade. So we're supposed to calculate all the properties at 50 degrees centigrade. So 50 is not there. In this case, you have to do the interpolation, take the properties. What are all the properties we will take? We will take kinematic viscosity. Now we are having for 40 and 60. Divided by 2, we will get a 50. If it is 55, interpolate and take the value. The kinematic viscosity, thermal conductivity, you take all the properties which are required. For solving the problem of natural convection, only 3 properties are enough: kinematic viscosity, Prandtl number, and thermal conductivity. If it is a forced convection, then we need to take mu, rho, specifically, all the properties we're supposed to take. Okay. Then, after finding this, we'll go for beta. As usual, beta is equal to 1 by TF plus 273. I have done 270. It is, I think I have done small mistake. 270. So, if you do that, I'll get a value of beta is this much. So, once you get the value of beta, you go for Grashof number. Grashof number G, gravitation 9.81. Beta, delta T is nothing but T wall minus T fluid into LC cube. What is the length of the plate? Length of the plate he has given 0.12 cube, and kinematic viscosity. So if you simplify this, we'll get a Grashof number of 1.14 into 10 to the power of 10. So based on this, okay, along with this, we have to multiply Prandtl number also. Grashof number into Prandtl number. Grashof number into Prandtl number. Any of this itself is already greater than 10 to the power of 9. So that definitely will be a turbulent flow. We'll see. 4.197 10 to the power of 10. So you're supposed to write a note. What is the note? The type of the flow is turbulent because the product of GR into PR, the product of GR PR is greater than 10 to the power of 9, like that. So that we can identify, that you can see in this. So for natural free convection, here you can see. So if it is a laminar, if it is less than 10 to the power of 9, if it is greater than, the product of these two is greater than 10 to the power of 9, then definitely it is a turbulent flow. That is, you can see here, GRPR is greater than 10 to the power of 9. It is a turbulent flow. Okay. Now, in this problem, he is not asking you to find out the Q. He is not asking you to find out the Q, rate of heat transfer. So I am not going to take the value of Nusselt number. Okay. In generally, after this, what we used to do? We used to write a note, and we used to write a after the note, we used to take up the Nusselt number. Nusselt number based on the Prandtl, based on this value. I think probably if it is turbulent flow, I used to take this as a Nusselt number. I used to solve. I used to get a Nusselt number. Then Nusselt number is equal to HL by K. Once H is done, Q is equal to HA delta T. But here I am not going to do with the Nusselt number. Nothing to do with the Nusselt number. What is the reason? The reason behind that is, he is in the question nowhere he is asking the Q, rate of heat transfer between the plate and the fluid. Just he is asking what is the thickness, means what is the gap between these two plates I supposed to maintain such that the two boundary layers will not cross with each other. So he is asking the gap between these two. The total gap between these two I have taken as B. B, you can take anything, either B, D, whatever you take. This is nothing but a gap between the two plates. And if I draw a symmetry, because the boundary layer will be same for both the cases, because the plate temperature is same, fluid temperature is same, dimensions of the plate is same, so that the thickness of the boundary layer will form in the same pattern, same fashion, so that I can do the symmetry. Either you can find out the total thickness between the plates, or the boundary layer thickness of one plate, multiplied with 2, it will become the B. That is the meaning of it. So because of Q is not asking, I went directly for delta X. So what is the delta X? We'll go for that. Delta X is 3.93 somewhere. This is for free convection. You find out the delta X. For laminar flow, just a minute, I'll check out. So by the time you please calculate the values here, by the time you please calculate the values of this GR and PR. Okay. Yeah, here. Vertical plate, you can use the delta X as 3.93 into X. There is a X value here. 3.93 into X, Prandtl number to the power of minus 0.5 in page number 134. In page number 134, I can find out the value of delta X. So with this, you find out the value of delta X. That means we are finding a delta for only one plate, the boundary layer thickness for one plate. So this is into delta X. See here. This is the boundary layer thickness for one plate. Just if I want total gap between the two plates, so the same pattern will be allowed. The same pattern will be there at the other plate also. So that 2 into that delta is, we'll get the total thickness between the plate, or the total gap between the plate supposed to be this much. See, for the boundary layer at a length of 120 millimeter is 1.103 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meters. So that what is the total gap I supposed to maintain between the two plates, so that I should not get interfered. Both the boundary layers will not get cross with each other. 2 into delta, so that it is 2.207 mm. The gap between the vertical plates I supposed to maintain just 2.207 mm. Okay. So anybody having doubts? If anybody is having doubts, please ask me. Okay. I hope there is no doubt. I'll go for the next problem. This is how we have to find out the thickness of the plate and thickness of the boundary. You know how to find out the thickness of boundary layer. Just he is adding one more plate just to ask you to find out the beta, the value of B. This is the one more problem on the natural convection. See here, what is given? A electronically heated plate, vertical, of size 25 into 25 mm is insulated on one side. That means, let us assume a plate of 25 to 25 mm. This plate is heated electronically, and one side of the plate is insulated. That means one side is completely insulated. There is no heat loss, so that the heat is only passing from other side, and dissipated heat from other surface at constant at a constant rate of 600 watt per meter cube. That means here I can see the rate of heat flow is only in one side, other side it is insulated, and the value is 600 watt per meter square. Watts per meter square. That means Q by area, meter square is there. So that it is a heat flux. What he has given, it is an heat flux. Okay. By free convection. He has given the by free convection to the atmosphere. Find the surface temperature of the plate. So he is asking to find out the surface temperature of the plate, and also telling that the surface temperature of the plate you have to find out, and by given the data, the fluid temperature or the surrounding air temperature is just 30 degrees. See here, length of the plate is 0.25, width of the plate is 0.25, heat flux, small q, capital Q by area is 600 watts per meter square. Fluid temperature or surrounding air temperature is just 30 degrees, and wall temperature is how much? That's all he's asking. He is nowhere asking to find out the value of H. So he's asking TW. So how to do? So in the initial, earlier problem, what you're supposed to do? We're supposed to calculate TF. What is TF? TF is equal to T wall plus T infinity by 2. So if I want to find out the film temperature, I supposed to see that this T wall, temperature of the wall must be given in the question. But now it is not given. So hence T wall is not given. Let us solve the problem by assuming T wall and match with Q and treat by using a trial and error method. See this note explains you what is the method I am going to adopt here. So just right now, for instance, I am going to assume. Let us assume T wall as 100 degrees centigrade. We will solve because Q is given. No, Q by area is given. We will match by assuming, by taking the value of T wall as 100 degree, whether it will suit for this or not. We will see. Let us take 100 degree. We will solve the TF as 65. You'll get, and properties of air at 65. You take the properties of air at 65. Find out the Grashof number as usual. Once the Grashof number is done, do the Grashof number into Prandtl. Product of those two, we will get 4.25 into 10 to the power of 9. So this is the product of Grashof and Prandtl. Once you know this value, you write a note whether the flow is turbulent or laminar. Hence, the product of these, once the value of GRPR is greater than 10 to the power of 9, we know that the flow is turbulent. And for a constant heat flux, this is also one more condition I should consider here. For a turbulent flow, constant heat flux. What is Nusselt number? We'll go for the data. For a turbulent flow, turbulent flow is here, and for constant heat flux. Can you see here? For turbulent flow and constant heat flux, Nusselt number is equal to 0.17 GRPR to the power of 0.25, and Nusselt number average is equal to 5 by 4 into Nusselt number. This is nothing but NUX. I can write NUL or NUX. Okay. So concentrate on these two formulas. 0.17, 5 by 4 into NU. So I taken NU average is equal to 5 by 4 into NUX. So what is NUX? NUX is 0.17 GRPR into 0.25. Just I club both the equation in one equation. So that Nusselt number I got 54.25. Once
so why did we take NU average? Why did we take NU average?
See here, everywhere we are supposed to take NU average only, everywhere. But here there is no formula, different formula for NU average and NU. So we'll treat this itself as NU average. But here he has given separately NU, if it is a constant heat flux, NU at a value of X is separate. This formula is separate. And NU average is separate. Always we are supposed to substitute NU average only. But earlier, if I take this problem, I am not going to do the NU at X and NU at average. Why? Because NU at X as well as NU at average, if this is the case given, both are same. So I am not taking NU average and NU X. But here, he has given separately NUX and NU average. So what is the value of 5 by 4 into NU? Can you calculate and tell me? You check out what is the difference between those two. Just 5 by 4. Why I have not taken earlier and here is just by multiplying 5 by 4 into this normal NUX, the value will be just 1.25. 1.25 of earlier value. That's all. There is no much difference. So here the difference is still lesser. I think probably it may be nearer to 1. So here we are not considered NUX separately and NU average separately. Here, he has given two formulas. Let us take both the formula. Always we are supposed to solve at NU average only. If the formula of NUX is separate and NU average separate formula is not available, then we will go for NU, whatever he has given, treating that as NU average. Sagar?
Okay, sir. Got it, sir.
Okay. So find out the NUX, substitute the value of NUX here, take NU average. Sorry. NU average, you got this. So substitute NU is equal to HL by K. You know that formula. That formula is available in page number 111. Nusselt number is equal to HL by K. So from that you take out H. So this H is nothing but H average. Do you remember in force convection what we used to do? We used to do NU generally. Then we used to find out H and then multiplying the value of H average. Something 1 by 0.8 or 2 into H average. H is equal to H average. So instead of doing now here in the the value between the X and H average is 5 by 4. That's same thing. Instead of finding the H separately and then finding H average, here we have done Nusselt number average and we got H average. Is it clear? So once the H average is done, substitute here. Q is equal to H into, I suppose, if I write capital Q, then it will be H into area, TW minus T infinity. Now he himself has given small q. Small q is nothing but capital Q by area. So area is taken this side. So that I simplified the formula into small q is equal to H TW minus T infinity. If we do this, we will get small q as 445.2. 445.2 is the value of heat flux. But what is the given heat flux? Given heat flux is 600. That means if I assume the plate temperature is 100 degree and if I solve, the Q value will be 445, but the given value of Q is 600. So that whatever I assume, the wall temperature is wrong. So little bit will go for increasing. I written a note. Given Q heat flux is 600 watt per meter square and obtained Q is just 445.2. We know that Q depends on the temperature difference. Therefore, let us take the higher value of TW to increase the Q. So let us try for 150. Similarly, if I try for 150, the value, same procedure, go for 150 plus 30 by 2, 150 plus 30, 180 by 2, it will be 90 degree. Take the property of 90 degree. Once you take the properties of air at 90 degree, go for Grashof number. And then Grashof into Prandtl number. Once you get this value, this will be again turbulent flow. And for turbulent constant heat flux, same procedure. Just the value of GRPR will vary because these two values depend upon the temperature. Again, H will vary, Q will vary. In that case, if I take the value of TW as 150, then the Q will be around 750. I think probably around 750. So what is given Q? Given Q is 600. Now obtained Q is 750 or 700. Earlier, if I take 100, the temperature of the plate, if I take 100, I got small q as 450, 445. And if I take 150, it will be around 700. So we want 600. So that, like that, if it means now we're supposed to take the TW value in between 100 and 150. Let us try for 125. Like that, if you go on trying with the trial and error method, try by 2 to 3 times, so that we'll come to know one solution that if I assume the temperature of the wall as 130 degree, then the given Q will be equal to almost nearer to obtained Q, obtained heat flux. So that you can write a note at the last. After assuming the temperature of the wall as 100 degree, 150, 125, we came to know that the temperature of the wall must be 130 degrees centigrade. Then the given condition will satisfy. Is it clear? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is how we have to solve the problem on natural convection. See, is there any issue with the natural convection problems? If anybody is having an issue with the natural convection problems, please let me know. I'll explain again any of the problem. Means by this, all the topic, all the concept of natural convection I covered. If anybody is having doubt in any of the problem, please ask me. Yeah, if anybody is having a doubt with the natural convection chapter? Anybody having a doubt with the natural convection? Problems how to solve? I hope there is no doubts in the natural convection. See, I'll repeat again what are all the topics covered till now. I covered the complete module 1. Module 1, first chapter is introduction to the heat transfer. That means till there we'll come to know about what is the difference between thermodynamics and heat transfer, different boundary layers, and then some few basic problems on conduction, convection, radiation, and governing laws for 3 modes of heat transfer. That will come to know in the first module, first chapter. Second chapter is one-dimensional equation and three-dimensional equation, and also problems on one-dimensional equation that we have solved in the first chapter, first module, second chapter. I covered both. That means complete first module, all the type of problems it's done. Then I went for the module 2. In the module 2, first chapter is on transient heat transfer. That also I covered. In the transient, there are 3 classification. One is lumped system, infinite body, semi-infinite body. I have covered all. Lumped system is by using the formulas, we have to solve the problem. And infinite by using a chart. And for semi-infinite by using the tables. We have solved that. And in the second module, second chapter is based on the fins. Based on the fins and based on FEM. So I requested TNP sir to take up the FEM topic. He has covered, I guess. So the second module is completed. And coming for the third module. Third module is the convection chapter. That is forced and free convection. So forced and free convection both I have covered. That means module 3, forced and free convection. I covered the entire topic. Module 3 is cleared. And module 4. Module 4, there is only one chapter called radiation. That complete radiation chapter I covered. So there, what are all the things we have studied? What do you mean by the radiation? What do you mean by different laws? What do you mean by black body? And what do you mean by different types of bodies, gray, opaque? And then what do you mean by emissivity? And then reflection? And then concept of black body? And then shape factor, how to find out? If it is simple. If it is somewhat complicated, shape factor, how to find out by using a graph and finding a Q with respect to the shape factor. And the last topic in that is radiation shield. So remember, most of the time the problem given is based on radiation shield. So that module 4 is completed. Coming to the module 5, there are 2 chapters again. One is heat exchanger and other one is boiling and condensation. So heat exchanger I have covered in all the manner. That means there are 4 derivations. One is LMTD method by using a parallel flow, LMTD by using a counter flow. These 2 derivations. And similarly, NTU methods for parallel flow, NTU method for counter flow. These 2 derivations. Problems based on LMTD method, problems based on NTU methods. And also problems based on multiple pass, problems based on cross flow, problems based on fouling factor. All the concept will be there in the heat exchangers. At the end of the heat exchanger topic, he has given a small introduced. This time he has introduced one small topic called compact heat exchangers. That compact heat exchangers, he did not given what is the depth we have to cover. Means what is the problem we have to cover, derivation, nothing. Just he told compact heat exchangers. So what I thought and what I done is, I covered with the PPT. What do you mean by the compact heat exchanger? How it is classified? What are the different types of compact heat exchanger? Working of all the compact heat exchanger and silent features or important points of each compact heat exchangers I have given in the PPT. Please go through the PPT. So that module 5 first chapter is done. Only left out is module 5 second chapter. Module 5 second chapter is left out now. And also a small bit in the module 2 second chapter is left. I'll cover that. Okay. In the module 2 second chapter is based on the problems by using a finch. The problems by using a finch and also FEM method. FEM method sir has done. Only by heat transfer method by using the formula of heat transfer, how to solve the problems on finch. I will do that. So before going for that, I will go for module 5 second chapter, that is boiling and condensation. Clear? So this is the pattern what I covered. Is there any doubt till here? Is there any doubt till here? Anybody should answer.
No, sir.
Okay. Shall I proceed for the next module? That is module 5, last chapter.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today just I'll give an introduction. What all the topics will be there in that. Those things I'll give. So tomorrow I will start completely in detail. I will start that. I'll start then module 5. Okay. Before that, I think probably you are aware of lab internals, no? For all the batches, heat transfer lab internals is scheduled on 22nd and 23rd. 22nd and 23rd. You have to prepare for the 8, only 8 for the internals I'm talking about. I'm talking about only for the internals. For the internals, you have to prepare 8 experiments that is listed out in the mail. I think probably you have received the mail. You prepare those 8 experiments in all the manner. You prepare along with the calculation also. So once we start, and we will give the values of the reading. What are the readings you are taking? So that for that reading you should calculate and you should submit in the Google form. Okay, that is considered as the test what you have done. So after conducting 2 experiments you should be doing. One is from part A and one is from part B. So clear? We have taken 4 from part A, 4 from part B. So the total 8 experiments. Out of 8, we will give 1 from part A and 1 from part B for the internals. Okay, you have to write down the calculation. If there is any graph, plot the graph, do the calculation properly, submit that in a Google Classroom. That is a procedure to conduct a test. And coming for the Viva, we will ask you MCQ questions. MCQ questions we will ask you. So prepare for MCQ. 20 questions will be there. Prepare for that and upload it in the Google Classroom or in the platform, whatever we are doing. Either probably we are using a Moodle, do with the Moodle. We'll see what platform we'll use. So that complete the Viva part. And writing up the record. In the record, you're supposed to write 10 experiment. For the internals, you're supposed to prepare 8 experiment. And in the record, you're supposed to write 10 experiment, which is listed out in the mail. Check out in the mail, all the 10 experiment you're supposed to write. If you have written, some students may ask, if I have written already one more experiment extra, no issue. But those 10 is mandatory. Whatever the 10 we are given there, those 10 are mandatory. Remaining, whatever the experiments you have written, that is well and good, no issue. And if you're not having a record, no need to worry. You purchase the record from outside, write the record there from outside book. Or you can take out A4 sheet, write properly, treat that as a record. We will give the marks for the record. Is it clear? And the test will be on 22nd and 23rd, batch wise. We will call batch wise for the test. We'll perform the test. We can, whatever we are going to ask you, you please execute that. So before executing, prepare. For preparation only, we are given that 8 experiments. You prepare only for those 8 experiments. We may ask anyone from part A, anyone from part B, for all. Is it clear about the lab test?
Sir, batch timings, sir.
Batch timing, individual faculty will tell. Okay, because we can decide. Now, individual faculty, for me, by B3 batches, there I can call B3 at 8:30 only, or
Yes.
at afternoon. We'll see what schedule we are having. Other classes also we have to take it, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Based on that, we'll see. Then, is there any issue with the lab test? I hope there is no doubt in the lab test. And regular internals. I think it is clear, no? Regular internals is clear. That is also, mail has been sent. Please go through the mail. You'll come to know what is the pattern of the regular internals, how to score, everything is given there. Okay. So today I thought you to explain about the plan of the lab internals. So I explained. Then any other things to be discussed?
So the lab.
Sir, internals, what is the portion? Sir? Internals portions.
Internals portion it is given, no? In the mail only it is given. Whatever the portion it is covered in the first module and in the first test, except that everything will be there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because now second internals is skipped, no? So all the modules that is clearly given. The syllabus for the test will be everything except the given in the first test.
Till module 4 it is given, sir.
Till module 4.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You please go through, okay? Or else we will decide that each and individual faculty you can ask, they will tell you the syllabus, no issue. I think by this time everybody has completed the syllabus, no? For all the chapters, all the modules is completed.
Yes, sir.
You
Almost.
you talk to individual faculties, they will tell you what is the syllabus for their subject. Then, is there any other?
So in lab, the experiments which we did in initial days in college, are we going to get videos on it?
You will get
Will we get videos on it?
videos,
The
huh?
conduction experiment, yes, sir.
So the ones that we did before the lockdown, sir.
Okay. For that you want videos, huh?
Yes, sir.
Videos, I think probably Madhu sir has taken the videos for other experiments. I don't know for which experiment he has taken the video. He told I have taken the videos for all experiment.
Yes.
I think probably that will be also uploaded in the YouTube. You can refer.
So one more thing, sir. So now the lab internals is only for HT, right, sir? Not for ANSYS also, no?
Regarding ANSYS, I don't know. For HT, for batch 3, my responsible for HT batch 3
Yes, sir.
is on 22nd and 23rd.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Then any other issue? Any other thing to be discussed? I hope I cleared your doubts. Now I will go for the next module. Just I'll give the introduction of the next module, what will be there in that, how to solve the problem, and what theory he will ask. Okay. That in that one derivation is there, and some 2 theories are there. Out of those 2 theory and 1 derivation, then definitely we will get 1 in exam. I'll show you what are all those things he can ask. Just a minute. Okay. Just I'll go through the slides and I'll show you what they will ask in the. Can you see the slides? Hello?
No, sir.
No, okay.
No, sir, we
I'll present this just a minute. Tomorrow's class I'll take up everything in detail, but just today I'll rush through. Can you see the slides now? Can you see the slides now? Hello?
Yeah, yes, sir, we can see.
Okay, see now. Here, the boiling and condensation, this a few theory is there. I'll just refresh through. Boiling, you know, what is the meaning of boiling? Boiling is nothing but change of phase. From where to where? Change of phase from liquid to vapor. That is called boiling. Just this PPT I taken from my friend. I will do in detail theory class from tomorrow. Just to brush you, I have taken this PPT. Okay, boiling he has done. And he has taken boiling heat transfer. The equation for the boiling heat transfer is this. And there are 4 regimes of boiling. One is pool boiling, forced convection boiling, subcooled boiling, saturated boiling. So how it is classified? See, this figure tells you the boiling curve. This is called as a boiling curve. So tomorrow I will share you one video about this boiling curve. Here you can come to know how exactly the boiling curve will obtain. We can obtain the boiling curve. Madhu sir has done critical heat flux experiment, no? Madhu sir has done critical heat flux experiment. That is based on this curve only. Okay. So, if I take 10 question papers, out of 10, 8 question papers will be having this question in the boiling and condensation. He will ask you to write down or draw the figure of pool boiling and explain the different regimes of the pool boiling. This is the curve. Okay, and then about the convection, free convection, nucleate boiling regime. This is explanation of the regimes, and this is all the explanation. Coming for the condensation. Condensation is also called as the phase change process. Condensation is also a phase change process, but from vapor to liquid. Boiling is liquid to vapor, and condensation is vapor to liquid. reverse. Those two are opposite to each other. Boiling is both are change of phase, but in the boiling we are going to convert the liquid to vapor state, but in condensation vapor to liquid state. That is the only difference. Okay? But in the boiling there is a curve, boiling curve. But in condensation we are not going to explain anything with the curve. We are going to explain with these two processes. One is film-wise condensation and drop-wise condensation. And this is a figure of film-wise condensation. I'll explain you tomorrow in detail how the film-wise condensation occurs, what is the key points of that film-wise condensation, everything. And drop-wise condensation. What do you mean by the drop-wise condensation? What is the key points and major features of this drop-wise condensation? And also, what is the difference between film-wise and drop-wise condensation? Only this is the theory he can ask. Along with this, one derivation is there based on this film-wise condensation. Based on this film-wise condensation, there is one derivation. That's all. Only this theory and that derivation he can ask next. Is it clear? So tomorrow I will go in detail for the theory of this boiling and condensation. Then I'll go for the problems. Okay. So please, all of you, type your revision number. You can leave the class, attend for the next class. Others, please type your revision number. You can leave the class. Thank you. Anil Kumar, Gautam Sai, Murali Krishna, Ranbir, Rishabh, Varun. Type your revision number.
Yes,
You
sir.
can leave the class.
I'm typing, sir. I'm unable.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So just 1 minute.
You are there, no, Ranbir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. If any doubts, please ask me. We'll clarify the doubts.
Yes, sir.
Anil, Murali Krishna, Rishabh, go attend for the next class. I'll wind up the class now. I'll end the class.